So it's auction day. What's the first thing that we do? When you get up in the morning and you're having bacon and eggs and coffee and preparing for today's fantastic day, check your marketing. Get your newspaper, make sure the date and the time is right. Ring all your buyers. Send an SMS. Remember you door knocked in the earlier session the neighbours? Send them an SMS to remind them about the auction day. Ring the potential buyers, both conditional and unconditional, invite them to the auction. Ring the vendor as well, because they're going to be feeling nervous and they want to hear that everything's under control and all the steps are in place, ready for auction day. Arrive early. Now, you need to, by law, present the documentation or have the documentation on display 30 minutes prior to the auction. So what this means is if it's an 11 o'clock auction, and I understand you have open inspections prior and after, and you get there at 10:40, what happens? Well, you're going to need to start the auction 10 minutes later. It needs to be a minimum 30 minutes prior to the commencement of the auction. My recommendation, get there an hour earlier. Set it up. Walk down the street. Knock on the doors. Invite the neighbours to come to the auction, because this is very important. This is your day to shine, both in the marketplace, and the potential of getting listings from the neighbours is very high at this stage. Have a talk to the vendors, turn on all the lights, encourage the vendors to perhaps freshly brew some coffee, put the heater on if it's cold, put the air conditioning on if it's hot, prepare the property, make sure all the children's toys and anything that could cause an accident is out of the way. If you notice neighbours starting noisy projects, they might be a building site next door, it might be people over the back fence, shout them a coffee, do something, have a chat to them and ask them if they can delay just for 10 or 15 minutes between 11 and 11:30, because A, it's an important event, and if anyone is perhaps not cooperating, just remind them that the better result that they get, that we get today, means that their property may be worth more. So it's in their interest to really help us with this. Bidder registration. Now don't worry, on auction day what I find is it's almost like there's a bus comes around the corner and 5 minutes before the auction starts, that's when all the bidders come. So you can either register the bidders on the week prior to the auction, there's nothing wrong with that, or bidder registration on the day. Make sure that you've got a staff member there that is familiar with the bidder registrations, check their IDs, issue them with a bidding card, and just explain to the bidders the process, because some will be nervous. And use the auctioneer and the agent and people from your office to help the bidders, the conditional and the unconditional, to understand the process of what's going to happen. Secure the property. Then obviously the auction starts and so does the action.